pal, have you ever stood by the ocean and wondered what it was like for the first humans who dared to cross it? Not with modern ships, not with GPS, but with nothing more than their courage and whatever they could build with their own hands. Today, we're journeying back 30,000 years to a time when the world was vastly different, a world of ice and uncertainty. We'll explore one of the greatest stories of human resilience, the story of our ancestors' epic migrations across the sea. So, picture this. It's the late Pleistocene epoch. Massive ice sheets cover much of the northern hemisphere, locking up enormous amounts of water. Sea levels are dramatically lower than they are today, as much as 120 meters, or nearly 400 feet, lower. The world map looks completely different. What are now islands were once connected to continents, and vast coastal plains stretched where deep water now lies. For early modern humans, Homo sapiens *, this wasn't just a changing landscape, it was a world of opportunity and immense challenge. Our ancestors were not aimless wanderers. They were intelligent, adaptable, and driven by the same things that drive us: the need for resources, safety, and a better future for their families. As populations grew and local resources like game and edible plants became scarcer, groups would have been pushed to explore new territories. The coastline was an incredibly attractive place to be. It was a rich buffet of live fish, shellfish, seabirds, and marine mammals were abundant. These coastal highways provided a reliable source of food, guiding human expansion along the edges of continents. For a long time, historians and archaeologists believed that early humans were primarily land-based, afraid of the open water. But a growing wave of evidence is completely rewriting that story. Libya, from Southeast Asia to the Mediterranean, we're finding clues that our ancestors were not just coastal dwellers, but also skilled seafarers. They looked out at islands on the horizon and didn't just see obstacles. They saw new homes, new frontiers. One of the most incredible examples of this is the settlement of Australia. We now know that humans arrived there at least 65,000 years ago. But here's the catch. Even at the lowest sea levels, Australia was never connected to mainland Asia. To get there, our ancestors had to make a series of open water crossings, some of which could have been up to 90 kilometers, or about 56 miles. This wasn't an accidental drift on a log. This was intentional, planned navigation. It implies they had the cognitive ability to plan for a journey to a land they could see, but not easily reach, and the technology to build watercraft capable of making that journey. So, what were these ancient boats like? Forget about the ships you see today. We're talking about something far more basic, yet incredibly effective. Most likely, they were rafts made from bamboo or reeds. Bamboo is a fantastic material. It's strong, buoyant, and grows quickly. By lashing together bundles of bamboo with vines or natural fibers, early humans could construct stable platforms. These rafts wouldn't have been fast, and they would have been at the mercy of winds and currents, but they were sturdy enough to carry a small group of people, their tools, and supplies across significant stretches of water. Imagine the scene. A small family group, perhaps 15 to 20 people, gathers on the shore. They've spent weeks, maybe months, building their raft, gathering provisions like dried meat, fresh water in animal skins, and their essential stone tools. They look out at the horizon, at a smudge of land in the distance. They have no maps, no compasses, just the sun, the stars, and the patterns of the waves to guide them. The journey would have been terrifying. They'd face powerful storms, relentless sun, and the constant threat of dehydration. The open ocean is an unforgiving environment. Any mistake could be their last. But their survival skills were second to none. They knew how to read the weather from the clouds and the wind. They were expert foragers, so they might have been able to catch fish or turtles along the way to supplement their supplies. They understood the currents and how to use them to their advantage. This wasn't a desperate gamble. It was a calculated risk, taken by people who had a deep, intimate knowledge of their natural world. Their very survival depended on this knowledge. The evidence for these journeys is often subtle. Ancient coastlines are now deep underwater, and organic materials like bamboo rafts have long since decomposed. But archaeologists are like detectives, piecing together the story from the clues left behind. They find ancient tools on islands that could only have been reached by sea. In places like the Ryukyu Islands of Japan, archaeologists have found 30,000-year-old fishhooks made of shell. This doesn't just tell us they were fishing. It tells us they were engaged in deep-sea fishing, which requires sophisticated watercraft. They weren't just hugging the coast. They were venturing far out into the deep blue. This leap into the unknown had profound consequences. Every time a group successfully crossed the water and established a new settlement, they entered a new world. They had to adapt to new plants, new animals, and new climates. This process of isolation and adaptation is a powerful engine of cultural and even biological evolution. New languages, new technologies, and new ways of seeing the world would have emerged on these island frontiers. It was this willingness to cross the water that allowed humans to populate nearly every corner of the planet, from the icy north to the remote islands of the Pacific. Think about the psychology of these first mariners. It required incredible bravery. It required a level of social cooperation we often take for granted. You can't build a raft and navigate the ocean alone. It requires a group working together, trusting each other with their lives. It also required forward thinking, the ability to imagine a future in a place you've never been, and to commit everything to reaching it. This is the very essence of the human spirit of exploration that would eventually lead us to climb the highest mountains and even travel to the moon. So, the next time you look at a map of the world, don't just see land and water. See the invisible highways that our ancestors traveled 30,000 years ago. See the courage of a small group of people on a bamboo raft, paddling toward an unknown shore, driven by the hope of a better life. They weren't just surviving, they were exploring, innovating, and expanding the human world. Their legacy is written in our DNA, and their spirit of adventure is what continues to push us to explore the frontiers of our own time. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. I hope it's given you a new appreciation for the incredible resilience and ingenuity of our earliest ancestors. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more stories from our deep past, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us create more content like this. Let me know in the comments what ancient human achievement you find most fascinating. Until next time, stay curious.